My son's wife left me at the airport. Yes, Candace, the woman I once called my daughter. She held my arm, guided me gently through the crowd at Heathrow, her voice soft like butter. "Mum, Ruth, let me just go check the gate. I'll be right back, I promise," she said. I smiled. I believed her. After all, she was family. I sat down on a hard, cold seat with my walking cane resting by my side and my late husband's blue sweater wrapped around my shoulders. I could hear people walking past me, rolling their suitcases, laughing, calling names. But Candace never came back. At first, I thought, maybe she got lost. Then maybe she's having trouble with the gate. Then maybe Corey came to help her, and they're both on their way back. But the minutes passed, slowly, like raindrops on a window. My hands started to tremble. My ears sharpened, trying to catch my son's voice in the crowd. Nothing. I waited and waited. By 9:12 a.m., the airport had become quiet in my ears. Something in my chest dropped like a stone in water. I reached out with my cane, tapping the floor until someone noticed. A kind TSA officer asked if I was all right. I told him my name, Ruth Vera Carter, that I was waiting for my son and his wife, Candace, that we were going on a family vacation to Montego Bay. He checked the manifest. His voice came back low and careful. "Ma'am, they already boarded. The flight has left." "They what?" I whispered. "They were on the plane, but you weren't listed. There was no seat booked under your name." My stomach turned cold. Not forgotten. Left out. Left behind. I felt tears rise, but I pushed them down. I wasn't going to cry. I wasn't going to fall apart in front of strangers. Because even though I couldn't see, I saw everything. I saw all the moments Candace had slowly erased me, the small ways she pushed me out, forgetting to include me in family pictures, not saving me a seat at the table, complaining when I asked for help crossing the room. She used to smile and call me Mom. Now she called me her cane, her chair, her tea. I became an object, a problem, a piece of background noise. But I still helped. I gave them money. I gifted them a house deposit, $40,000 from my retirement savings. I gave Candace $5,000 to start her skincare shop. I picked up their kids from school, told them bedtime stories, paid for tutors. I even paid their phone bills some months when they were struggling. And still, they left me, a blind old woman, alone in a busy airport. I held my phone tight in my wrinkled hands and called Micah, my old friend and travel concierge. I knew he'd answer. He always did. "Ruth," he said, worried, "aren't you supposed to be on a plane right now?" "No," I replied calmly. "Candace left me." "What?" "Don't shout, Micah," I said. "I need you to cancel everything, the villa, the driver, the excursions, everything under RVC Enterprises." "Wait, you booked it under your trust?" "Yes," I said, "and I'm going to take it back." There was silence for a few seconds. Then Micah said, "Ruth, you're a legend." No, I wasn't a legend. I was just done. Done being silent. Done funding people who saw me as furniture. I felt the fire return to my bones. That fire that once helped me build a small business empire, even after going blind. That fire that raised Corey when his father passed. That fire that kept me warm every cold night when I missed being loved and needed. I may be blind, but I was not stupid. I told Micah, "Rebook the trip, but this time I'm going alone." He chuckled. "Private suite? Of course. First class? Why not? It's my money." As Micah worked his magic, I sat in that airport chair for another 2 hours. Not angry, not crying, just breathing, letting the pain move through me like a cold wind, and then letting it go. Because I had made a decision. I would no longer beg to be seen. Corey didn't call. Candace didn't text. They didn't think I would find out. They didn't even say goodbye. To them, I was an old blind lady who wouldn't notice. Micah booked everything fast. Within 4 hours, I had a new ticket, first-class seat, and a private car waiting for me at Sangster International Airport in Montego Bay. I didn't tell anyone I was coming. As the plane took off, I leaned back in the soft seat and placed my fingers on the window, feeling the hum of the jet. The world looked dark to me, as always, but inside I was glowing with purpose, glowing with truth. I wasn't going to make a scene. I was going to make a point. When I landed, the warm air kissed my skin. I could hear the sea far off and the music of a local steel band playing somewhere nearby. A man with a calm voice said, "Miss Carter, this way, please." His name was Jerome, my personal driver. He opened the door, helped me in, and we drove off toward the resort. Now, let me tell you what happened on their side. Candace and Corey arrived earlier. They expected a welcome sign, a private driver, drinks waiting in the car, just like the itinerary I had emailed months ago. But instead, nothing. No driver, no car. They stood outside like confused tourists, dragging their suitcases through the heat. Corey tried calling the travel agency. Candace kept tapping on her phone, trying to use the prepaid card I had given them for food and fun. Declined. Card blocked. Everything under RVC Enterprises, frozen, canceled, gone. They made it to the villa somehow, probably begged a taxi driver to take them. But when they got there, the front desk said, "Sorry, there is no booking under your name. The reservation was canceled this morning by the owner." Candace tried shouting, Corey tried begging, but nothing worked. They had no keys, no access, no money. No one believed them when they said they were family of Ruth Vera Carter. Then, "Where is Miss Carter?" the front desk asked. That's when panic started. Corey called my phone 4 times, then Candace texted me, "Mom Ruth, please call back. Something is wrong with the resort system." I didn't reply. I was sitting on a shaded porch, sipping ginger ale from a glass, listening to the waves. My private suite overlooked the beach. There was a soft bed, fruit on the table, and sandals already by the door. Micah had even arranged soft violin music to play in the background. I could feel the peace in the air. I wasn't being mean. I was just giving them the gift of silence, the same silence they had given me in the airport. The same silence they gave me during family dinners when they spoke around me. The same silence they gave me when they took my money, took my time, and gave me no respect in return. The phone buzzed again. Voicemail from Corey. "Mom, we're stuck. We don't know what's going on. Please call me, okay? Candace is freaking out." I turned off the phone. Let them freak out. Let them sit in the hot sun and feel what it's like to be forgotten. As I sat there, I thought about the past. About how I used to sit in the cold with Corey as a baby, rocking him on my knee while snow fell outside our little flat. About the time I worked 2 jobs to send him to a better school. About how I cooked meals with the lights off to save power bills. I did it all with love. Then Candace came, and at first I was happy. She seemed polite, loving, but slowly something changed. She laughed at the way I dressed. She called my stories boring. She sighed loudly when I asked for help walking. She didn't want a second mother. She wanted me out of the picture. But I stayed quiet. I didn't want to cause trouble. I didn't want to come between my son and his wife. I thought, if I just keep loving them, they'll see me again. But they didn't. and I had finally accepted that. That night, I heard there was a scene at the resort's front gate. Candace was crying, shouting at the security. Corey was on the phone trying to get help. But no one could fix it because everything was under my name, and I had made sure no one but me could unlock it. Meanwhile, I sat in my suite eating grilled fish and listening to the ocean. A kind worker brought me pineapple juice and asked if I needed anything else. I smiled and said, "Just peace." I got it. I even danced a little on my balcony, my arms swaying gently to the reggae music playing in the distance. No one watching, no one judging, just me and freedom. I thought about the children, my grandbabies. I missed them. They were innocent. When I returned to London, the skies were gray, but my heart was warm. For the first time in years, I didn't feel like someone waiting on the sidelines of life. I felt alive. Micah helped me back into my home, and as soon as I walked through the door, I knew things were going to be different. The silence in my living room used to feel like loneliness, but now it felt like peace. I made myself a warm cup of tea and sat down by the window, the same spot where I used to sit and wait for Corey and Candace to visit, where I waited for phone calls, for thank yous, for invitations, for love. Not anymore. That day, I called my lawyer. "We're updating my will," I said. "All right, Miss Carter, who are we including this time?" Not Corey, not Candace, not anyone who left me behind. I redirected everything: the house, the savings, the trust fund. I set up a scholarship for blind girls, especially those who wanted to study business or become leaders. I left part of my money to the center that helped me after I lost my sight. I started funding talking book libraries and programs for seniors. I invested in people who saw me, not as a chore, but as a person. Days later, Candace came to my front door. She was holding a basket. I could smell the fruit from where I stood. Oranges, bananas, grapes. Her knock was soft. "Mum Ruth," she called. "Can we talk?" I didn't open the door. Not because I was angry, but because I had nothing left to give. I had already spoken with my actions. I had already shown her that leaving someone behind has consequences. I didn't want revenge. I wanted respect. The next few weeks were quiet. I spent time listening to music, walking with my cane through the garden, calling old friends, and even trying painting with my fingers. I made a terrible mess, but oh, how I laughed. Then my 73rd birthday arrived. Usually, birthdays were small things, maybe a phone call from Corey, a cold cake from the supermarket, a card with no real words inside. But this year, I threw a party. Not for family, but for friends, real friends, my neighbors, the sweet girl from the bakery who always helped me count change, the mailman who read my letters when I couldn't, the nurse from my eye clinic, the cab driver who always waited patiently. I invited them all. We filled the backyard with music and hanging lanterns. We had coconut rice, grilled chicken, fruit punch, and chocolate pudding. People brought gifts, laughter, and joy. When it got dark, I stood up to give a little speech. My hands were shaking, but my heart was full. "Thank you all for being here," I said. I used to wait to be invited, wait to be remembered, wait to be loved. But today, I'm not waiting anymore. Today, I am the celebration. Everyone clapped and cheered. A little boy from next door ran to me and said, "Grandma Ruth, you're the coolest old lady ever." I laughed so hard I almost cried. That night, as the music played and the lights twinkled, I felt something deep inside me settle. Not anger, not pain, just peace. I thought of Corey. I still loved him. He was my son, but I couldn't carry him anymore. Not when he let someone else treat me like baggage. I had carried enough for decades. Candace? I forgave her in my heart, but forgiveness doesn't mean access. I forgave her from a distance. And the children? I prayed they would grow with kindness in their hearts, that they would remember the stories I told them, that they would learn to treat people better than their mother did. If they came to me one day, truly sorry, I would listen. But I would not shrink again. I would not beg again, because I finally understood something. You should never fund your own disrespect. No one should. If you're listening to this, if someone has made you feel small, quiet, unwanted, remember this story. Remember a 72-year-old blind woman who was left at the airport and chose not to cry, but to rise. Remember that you can take your power back one quiet decision at a time. I am Ruth Vera Carter. I may not see the world with my eyes, but oh, I see with my soul. And I promise you, I am never sitting in silence again.